Welcome back. I'm going to bring you guys along for this O2 Ford Escape diagnostic today. It's a rough idle, low idle, erratic idle as they described it concern, and that's pretty much all they told me. So I don't have a lot to go on. I mean, it's running rough, so it's a drivability concern. Let's just go grab some data, do some of our preliminary checks, and let's see what we find. Let's get started. All right, so I'm just gonna start it up and check out that low idle, see what he's talking about. He's a tiny little guy or something. I gotta adjust that steering wheel real quick. It's hitting my knees. All right. Oh. Yeah, let me turn you around. So when I first started it up, I mean, the RPM shot way up to like 2,500, and then they kind of surged, and then, you know, whoa, and kind of came back down. So thinking like idler control valve maybe. However, I can feel a steady miss. It is, it's missing pretty good. It was, when I first started it, it was really missing. You know, it was like a dead miss, like a bad coil pack or something. And then, so I think he's got a couple issues going on with this drivability problem. Let's get out there, pop the hood, and there's the check engine light, so let's grab the scanner. Oh, there she is in all her glory, the Ford 3.0. So just right off the bat, I don't see anything jumping out at me. All right, so get some codes and hopefully some direction. 4-valve 3.0. Just gonna scan all the modules. I've never seen this car, so I don't know what type of condition it's in. This is a customer of mine, but I've always worked on his other car, so okay. So we're in the current codes. Looks like we got a cylinder 5 issue and a IAT sensor circuit high input issue. So let's see here. I've found on Fords a key on engine off or key on engine running sometimes will yield you some very powerful information. So I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so same thing. By the way, this P1000, if you're wondering, that is just telling you that somebody cleared these codes recently, and the monitors have not ran yet and given it the go. So I'm going to be looking at the IAT and that cylinder 5. On these vehicles, the IAT is integrated in this MAF, and I actually have one of those, so I might swap it and see if that code goes away. We'll look at some data first. So for reference, cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You always want to know what the firing order is, and you know, where the cylinders are located on you know, if you want to know which one's bank 1, just to start with, you know, that the bank 1 is always a little bit further forward than bank 2 in a V-style engine. So our cylinder in question is right there under that cover. So first off, I just got the PIDs that I'm interested in, the RPMs, engine load, ECT, idle air control, intake air temperature sensor, long-term and short-term field trims, and then the MAF. I thought I had the MAF on there. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go back and get that one. But so usually, I mean, I like to, when it comes to the IAT and the ECT sensors, I like to compare them after, you know, the engine's been sitting for a little while to see if they're operating properly. You know, they should be within about 10% of each other. I mean, right now that it's been cooling down for a few minutes, the ECT, you know, it is right about 10% difference, so from the intake air temperature sensor. So I don't know if that's like an intermittent fault or something. And then, you know, we want to watch the fuel trims, and oh, I do have the MAF on there. Good. Okay, so let's go start it up. All right, I'm starting it up right now. Keep in mind, until it goes into closed loop, you know, like stuff like this ECT, it's not going to come into play. The computer has a preset programming, you know, to get it warm as quick as possible up to operating temperature, and as soon as it does, it goes into closed loop, and that's when you're going to, you know, see stuff like the IAT and the ECT start coming into play. I should have got the O2 sensor PIDs on here as well. I might grab those real quick. I accidentally got out of there, but so I got to reselect them, but you can see it is in closed loop and it is starting to chug. It's kind of odd. I was just scrolling by, and I don't know if, like with the idle air control, it said control learn, but then it said no learn, and then it switched back to learn, and then no learn, and then switch back to learn. Let me just give it some gas real quick, see what it... I don't know why that was switching back and forth like that. So just watch that IAT PID. We're gonna see, you wanna see, I'm gonna give it some gas. You wanna see it drop a little bit. So the air gets moving quicker through there, and it does seem to be responding. So our long-term fill trims are about 17% positive, so that indicates we're lean on both banks. I can smell it out the tailpipe too. You can tell when a car is running lean. It's kind of hard to describe the smell. Like rich would be more like rotten eggs. This, it's more like a fuel slash like chemical type. Yeah, I mean, it's very noticeable once you've smelled it before. So this mass airflow right there, so this is a 3-liter engine. You want to use the general rule of thumb, you know, say this is a 3-liter engine, so it should be at about 3 grams per second. 2.6 grams per second, it's underreporting. So, well, I mean, our RPM is a little low, maybe. I don't know. There's a desired RPM PID on here, and I forgot to select it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there's our short-term fuel trims. You know, we're pretty much pegging out there at 33%. Once again, positive. That's really lean. So I don't know if these misfire monitors just aren't picking up on the other cylinders, or what's going on with that, but I think, I don't know, we may have a fuel delivery issue here, or a vacuum leak. You can really see it now. Look, it is really dropping. I mean, it's going down to like 300 RPM. That's really bad. I'd be curious to get a fuel pressure gauge on there and look to see the amperage that it's, or I'm sorry, the pressure while this is happening. These have a, I think they have a fuel pressure or a fuel pump module. Oh, see, look, there you go. See it drop? I mean, look, it's barely wanting to run right now. It is chugging so hard. So while we're in this data, I just want to show you, if you look at that short-term fuel trim, I'm gonna snap throttle. It should go rich. Yeah, so that indicates that our O2 sensors are working properly. That MAF sensor reading is still really low. I think this car has multiple issues. Right off the bat, I suspect the fuel pump, I suspect that mass airflow, and I also suspect that it needs a tune-up. Yeah, we're wanting to die right now. Look at that, look how low that is. Okay, just went to go take this cover off here, and I found this. That's a, goes right here from the throttle body down to the PCV. On top of the valve cover, so that's a problem. I'm gonna have to fix that for sure. Okay, you can see I got that cover off, so that's our cylinder in question. First thing I'm gonna do, well, I think actually I'm gonna take this broken little nub off there, and I'm gonna shove this, I think it's a PCV hose. I'm just gonna shove it in there and see if that has any effect, and I'm going to come out here and unplug that coil in question while it's running. Actually, I'm going to do one at a time and compare them just to see if that coil is contributing or not. Just a quick test you can do on a coil. Not sure how well that's going to seal. Really wanted to stay in there. It's kind of stretched to its limit, but I just want to see how it affects the idle, because that very well could affect the idle. It's not a vacuum leak, it's before the throttle plate, but it is skewing the MAF readings, which, but that's probably why it's running so lean, honestly. So let's see if that, you know, and we'll look at the scan data and see if how it affected that MAF reading. So we got to let it run for a minute. I don't know if it's in closed loop yet. It has been cooling down for a minute. I mean, it should be. But I had to restart the PIDs here again. The short-term fuel trims are down to about 9%. Our long trim fuel trims, they're down to 0. It's starting to misfire now though. Where in the world is... So we're right about 200 degrees now. That should be, we should be in open loop. Now if I can just find that pit again. So, it looks like we're in open loop. It says there's a fault. So we're still reading about 2.6 grams per second on that MAF. And those short-term fuel trims are back up to about, I don't know, 26. It sounds like I can hear a vacuum leak. Sounds like it's coming from back there, maybe. I might look into that. They did put a new EGR on there, looks like. And we are in closed loop now, and I'm gonna try not to lose my PIDs that I built here. Let's see. I do not like that MAF reading one bit. So I'm still going to disconnect this coil. Sometimes if you push it in, then press the little tab down, it'll make it easier if it's a little stuck. Which it is. Okay. There was an RPM change. Not much, but let's go to this one. Same thing here. Right about the same RPM change. And that will probably throw some extra codes at you, so you need to be aware of that. If you don't let it confuse you. So I'm just going to get out of that manufacturer specific data and go into the EOBD. There was no misfire monitors, so or misfire PIDs that I saw. So I want to get in here and see what I can see. That's loading. Just want to show you this. This is where I hear that vacuum leak coming from, and it's actually, this hose is collapsed. I don't know if you can hear the change there. It even brings the idle back down to normal when I pinch it to allow some airflow through there. That hose looks like it's installed incorrectly, and it may be time to replace it as well. Collapsing on itself. I don't even know what it goes to. We're gonna check that out. So sometimes just checking in the EOBD is a little more helpful. I couldn't find anything in there that stuck out at me other than it did fail the misfire monitor, and it says bank 1 upstream oxygen sensor failed. I believe because it's running lean. It was out of spec. I don't know. I don't think it's a O2 sensor issue. I think this is and I don't think it's a cylinder specific misfire either. I think this is a widespread issue causing misfires, and the misfire monitors just didn't pick it up. And there probably is a misfire PID somewhere in there, but I couldn't find it quick, and I'm not really concerned about, I mean, I don't know, I guess, you know, that number 5 coil could be going out. They're notorious for those, these coils going out, and well, I end up having control issues like I stated before, but I'm gonna fix that. I mean, I think it's just making that noise because it's starting to it's like trying to squeeze the air through. But I don't know why it's collapsed on itself either. I need to figure out what it goes to, and I need to fix that because, I mean, as soon as I allow airflow through there, the engine idles down and it runs smooth. There's definitely something going on with that. I don't know if it has, you know, and then that other hose we found. Stuff like that you need to take into account, and you need to fix that before you go any further, because, you know, we're dealing with a lean situation, and we're dealing with, you know, vacuum leaks, and, you know, there's a lot of different possibilities. So when you find something on your visual inspection that jumps out at you that's not supposed to be there, you know, I could probably fix that, at least patch it up to where it's operating properly during testing, and then, you know, continue testing. So if you can do something quick like that, do it. You know, I'm not saying it's going to fix all the issues, but it's something you know, you're going to let your client know about. And this is, I swear I get the worst vehicles in town. You know, this is another multi-problem vehicle. So we're just going to take one issue at a time, deductive reasoning, try to narrow it down, you know, put the puzzle pieces together and zero in on the suspect. So that's actually that is the vacuum line that goes to the PCV system. So that is actually under the intake. I just want to be clear regarding that. We're dealing with a misfire concern. And you know, at first you're thinking, oh, cylinder 5. So do you replace the coil? Do you replace the plug? What do you do? Where do you go from there? Well, the stored vacuum in your intake plays a huge role in the engine drivability. When you have a vacuum line on a big hose, or you know, going directly to the manifold, because you can hear it hissing out. That's gonna, first of all, it's gonna cause our lean condition. So, you know, my focus is kind of, I mean, that MAF is still suspect, but you know, if the engine's not idling, you know, where it should, you know, that MAF reading, it might be sucking in less air than it should and giving you skewed results. So anytime you have a MAF sensor concern, you know, always make sure that you check other stuff like this, because you know, they play an important role with each other. You know, like I was saying, this engines rely on manifold vacuum to operate properly for the combustion process to go smoothly and operate properly. So we're gonna fix that vacuum leak real quick and then retest everything. Just gonna dig through my drawer of random hoses I've acquired over the years. Maybe I'll find something. Call me a hoarder if you will, but I can't tell you how many times I've found miscellaneous hoses, cut them, reuse them. You know, always keep a junk drawer full of stuff like that, just random gaskets and O-rings and hoses and filters and whatever, because you never know. Just like this, you know, I mean, do I want to call the parts store and order this little, you know, this collapsed little T, I mean, just elbow? I mean, I don't want to wait for that. Just waiting for that scan data to load. I will say the vacuum leak is gone. I can't hear it anymore. It's idling way smoother, and that may have taken care of our lean condition, hopefully. Just be curious to see what, and also we'll see if it starts acting up again and kind of idling funny, you know, it's kind of racing. Okay, so hose is fixed. Now our idle speed is right where it should be. We got the desired and then the actual RPMs. We're in closed loop. It's good. Our short-term fill trims are right about plus or minus 10%. Still a little high for me. It's, you know, it's going up to, at times, you know, 13 to 16 maybe, briefly, but our mass airflow is right on the money. I mean, that's right where it should be. That's what you want to see when you're looking at the PIDs on here for your MAF sensor. 3-liter engine, 3 grams per second. It's the golden rule right there. Those long terms, they may take a minute to update. Like I said, however, you know, the field trims are still a little off. I don't like that. That's too high. So I might reset the cam and then take another reading. So we got the MAF readings back where they should be. The short term is, you know, right around plus or minus 10%. It does look, Bank 2 does look like it's running a little bit more lean. I might look into that a little further. Like I was saying, those long terms are going to take a minute to update maybe. But, you know, our RPMs are right where they should be. And most importantly, I don't hear that vacuum leak, and our MAF readings are spot on. So we've just eliminated that MAF sensor. unless it's some type of intermittent fault, which I highly doubt. I mean, I just fixed that, and you know, now we're where we should be. All right, so another thing I found. This bolt for the intake manifold. It's not even tightened down. So where's that? Cylinder 5. That's going to be another vacuum leak. There you have it. Lower erratic idle on this Escape. Just a couple quick key points. When it comes to that MAF reading we were getting, think of the engine as an air pump. It sucks the air in, it compresses the air, bang, and then it exhausts the air. The faster that engine's spinning, the higher that MAF reading is going to be. That's why, you know, you want to check that PID while it's running in closed loop after it's warmed up. You know, the ECU has started taking inputs from the other sensors, because otherwise, you know, you're just you know, it's going to idle high as it's trying to warm up, and you're going to see a much higher number. So the best way that I can explain that low MAF sensor reading, you know, by the way, you know, check this stuff before you condemn one of those. You know, that erratic idle, it's idling low. I mean, it was really low. It was, you know, at like 400 RPM, like almost 100 RPM according to the you know, the RPM, the tachometer. But I didn't see that on the PIDs. I didn't look. But anyways, that's gonna have effect. You know, if it's sucking in less air because the engine's moving slower, your MAF is going to reflect that. So just take that into consideration. You know, another thing, you know, we're still getting those lean numbers. You know, we're right around 20% now positive. We were pegged, you know, at like 33, somewhere in there. So that vacuum line we fixed helped, but it didn't completely fix it. That, you know, go figure, that cylinder 5 misfire right where that broken intake bolt was. Yeah, it'll do that when, you know, when you've got an intake passage, you know, going to that cylinder, and it's got a broken bolt. There's your intake leak, and that's probably why we're seeing those high fuel trim numbers. It's creating a vacuum leak. You know, when you put those manifolds on, first off, they're plastic. Second off, those bolts are tiny. They're 8mm heads, and you know, the tiny little fine threads. Don't over torque them because they'll break fairly easily, actually, or they'll strip. They'll probably, first up, they'll probably strip before they break. But in this case, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna have to remove that manifold, probably extract the bolt that's in there, because the existing one, it won't thread in. So that's probably why it's just sitting there like that. But anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.